Let's bring in Russian and Baltic correspondent Nick Holdsworth. He joins us now live from Riga in Latvia. Nick, in a conflict that has seen its fair share of symbolic moments, how is this trip being perceived in Russia?
Well, with the normal gaslighting comments on any kind of visible sign of Western support for the Ukrainians, the Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Medvedev this morning said rather sardonically that I hope the leaders of these three states and the president of Romania will not only focus on supporting Ukraine by further pumping weapons into that country. He said it's absolutely useless and will cause further damage to the country. Now, this is a typical Russian response when they see the West showing signs of greater solidarity. And I think Armin just referred to Macron getting close to supporting the concept of victory, whereas in the past, victory for the Ukrainians, whereas in the past, he's talked more about a negotiated settlement. That worries the Russians. So you get this sort of flood of rhetoric. The former president, Dmitry Medvedev, who's now deputy head of the country's Security Council, tweeted in English that European fans of frogs, live-wurst, and spaghetti love visiting Kiev. He says that this visit, sending more weapons to Ukraine, won't bring Ukraine any closer to peace. Now, there's a pattern here. The Russian permanent representative at the UN a couple of days ago, yesterday, said that the West bears responsibility for civilian deaths in Ukraine, as if Russia never launched an unprovoked aggressive war on Ukraine. So what we see from the Russians is to be expected, which is more doubling down on the lies they've been peddling about how those civilians have been killed, and their anxiety that greater European, in particular, unity will not be good news for them and their war on Ukraine.
Nick, you're currently in Latvia, and I understand the country has been quite vocal when it comes to NATO strategy in the region.
Absolutely. Today, the country's defense minister has been in Brussels ahead of the NATO Madrid summit coming up in a couple of weeks' time, urging NATO to put more boots on the ground in the Baltic states. I mean, there are somewhere around 40,000 troops under NATO command in the Baltics. Those are not all NATO, they're not all troops from outside of the region. That's what I mean. They're troops designated as being under NATO command. The Latvians, and they're supported by the Estonians and the Lithuanians in this, would like to see more like 50,000, which is 10 times the number of direct NATO troops from other states here as a bulwark against the Russians. Now, some commentators have a nuanced view on that. Some commentators think that it's better to not have NATO troops on the front lines, because if Russia did decide to invade the Baltic states, they say that they would be the first wave to be swept, possibly over, and they think they should be held further back. The Latvians and the other Baltic states are very firm. They say that they need to beef up military presence here because the Russians do not negotiate; they only understand force. And incidentally, the Russian negotiator today has popped up again saying that the Russians are ready to negotiate. Again, not surprising that coming out on a day when we've got a show of European unity in Kiev.
Press 24's Russia and Baltic correspondent Nick Holdsworth reporting there live from Riga. Nick, thank you very much.